The movie begins on October 15th, 1932. Twin brothers Smoke and Stack Moore return from Chicago to Clarksdale, Mississippi, with plans to use stolen gangster money to build a juke joint for old friends, acquaintances, and family members working as sharecroppers on the sunflower plantation. The brothers begin by purchasing a vacant sawmill from racist landowner Hogwood, who is secretly a Ku Klux Klan Grand Dragon. Although his preacher father Jedediah disapproves of music because he believes it can attract evil, Smoke and Stack's young cousin Sammy Moore excitedly prepares to use his talent as an aspiring blues guitarist and singer for the Barrel House's entertainment. Smoke drives into town to recruit Bo and Grace Chow, who run a small grocery with their daughter Lisa, to provide food for the Juke's first night festivities. While in town, Smoke wounds two thieves with gunfire when they try to steal from his truck.
After recounting how his brother murdered their abusive father, Stack is impressed by a song Sammy plays while they drive to the train station, where Stack hires longtime bluesman Delta Slim to play piano with the Juke. Also at the station, Sammy takes an interest in Perline, an attractive singer who tells Sammy she is married, but he invites her to the party anyway. Meanwhile, Stack has an uncomfortable encounter with his half-white ex-girlfriend, Mary, who married another man but still feels abandoned from when Stack left her for Chicago. Stack and Sammy leave the station with Delta Slim after inviting everyone there to the new club. The men then make one final stop to hire burly field worker Cornbread as the juke joint's bouncer. Wanting her to be the club's cook, Smoke visits his estranged wife Annie, who runs a small tincture shop for superstitious locals. Following a conversation about her supernatural beliefs as well as the death of their infant daughter, Smoke and Annie end up doing the nothing.
With his skin burning from sunlight, Irish immigrant vampire Remick seeks shelter in the remote home of KKK couple Bert and Joan. Horseback hunters from a Choctaw tribe come to the house searching for Remick, but Joan turns them away at gunpoint. Remick then transforms both Bert and Joan into vampires. The juke joint opens for the evening with everyone in their respective roles. Sammy is excited to see Perline show up, and the two of them eventually get intimate. Despite the acrimony between her and Stack, Mary shows up too, leading to a confrontation where Stack admits he is still in love with her. Seemingly summoned by Sammy's entrancing music, Remick, Bert, and Joan arrive outside, claiming they merely wish to come inside to join the revelry. To prove their claim, the three of them pull out instruments and begin playing harmonious music. Still wary of the suspicious outsiders, Smoke turns them away.
Smoke and Sammy have a contentious confrontation about Sammy's desire to leave the plantation, despite Smoke's threatening insistence that he only play music for his business ventures. Meanwhile, Stack sends Mary to learn more about the trio. Mary's subsequent encounter with Remick, Bert, and Joan ends with her being turned into a vampire. Upon returning to the juke, Mary lures Stack into a private room where she bites his neck during an intimate moment. Smoke walks in on Mary killing his brother. Smoke shoots Mary several times, but she is unfazed by the bullets. Threatening that everyone there will die, Mary runs outside laughing. With Stack dead, the juke shuts down early. Bo Chow helps escort partygoers outside, where, unbeknownst to the few people remaining in the building, they are turned into vampires.
Having stepped away earlier to relieve himself, Cornbread returns to his post at the door, but strangely asks for permission to enter, which causes Annie to become suspicious. Denied a verbal invitation, Cornbread reveals he was transformed into a vampire by trying to bite Smoke's arm. Smoke shoots Cornbread. Cornbread immediately rises from the ground, spurring Smoke, Sammy, Delta Slim, Annie, Perline, and Grace Chow to barricade themselves against the gathering threat. Resurrected as a vampire, Stack bursts through the door of the room he was locked in. Annie confirms her belief that they are dealing with vampires by dousing Stack in pickled garlic juice that makes his skin burn as he escapes outside. Recognizing the danger they are in, Annie arms the handful of survivors with wooden stakes as well as garlic they forcibly eat to prove to each other they were not secretly turned.
After unifying their horde with a group song, Remick returns with dozens of vampires, including Stack, Mary, Bo, and Cornbread. As part of his bargaining dialogue with the survivors, Remick reveals Hogwood only sold the sawmill to the twins because Hogwood planned to murder everyone inside with his fellow KKK members. Stack, Mary, and Bo join the taunting. Enraged by Remick and Bo threatening to go after her daughter, Grace furiously shouts for the vampires to come at them. A massive fight ensues between both sides as flames from a Molotov cocktail spread throughout the building. Grace dies in the melee. Stack bites Annie, forcing Smoke to stake his wife through her heart. Delta Slim sacrifices himself so others can escape a vampire mob. Remick attacks Perline. Clutching his guitar, Sammy escapes outside, but he is caught by Remick, who tells Sammy he wants to assimilate Sammy's stories and songs into the vampire's collective consciousness. Back in the juke, Smoke and Stack face off against each other. Sammy smashes his guitar into Remick's head, creating a fatal gash that causes all other vampires to recoil in immense pain. Before he can kill Sammy, Smoke arrives in time to stake Remick through his heart from behind. As dawn begins breaking, the vampires combust along with Remick.
Following a reconciliatory moment with Smoke, Sammy returns to his father Jedediah's church with a scarred face and broken guitar. Jedediah pauses his frightened congregation's worship to advise his son to drop the guitar and leave his sinning ways behind him. Later, Sammy drives out of Clarksdale. Back at the sawmill, Hogwood arrives with his KKK followers. Having armed himself with multiple firearms in response to Remick's tip-off about the impending ambush, Smoke starts a firefight that kills everyone, including Hogwood. However, Smoke collapses from a fatal bullet wound he took in his stomach. As he dies from bleeding out, Smoke sees a comforting vision of Annie nursing their baby. Exactly 60 years later in Chicago, Sammy performs at a blues club he named in Perline's honor. Enjoying a drink alone after his show, Sammy is surprised by a visit from Stack and Mary, who are able to survive by evolving into a stronger breed of vampire. Stack reveals Smoke let him escape the juke in exchange for a promise that he would allow Sammy to live out his life undisturbed. After declining an offer for immortality, Sammy plays the same song for Stack and Mary that he first played for Stack during their car ride in 1932. Before Stack and Mary exit, Sammy tells them that until the sun went down, October 15th, 1932 was the best night of his life. Stack agrees, adding that it was the last time he saw his brother or the sun, and the first time he ever felt truly free.
Make sure you subscribe and turn on notification to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.